Hello guys, my name is Prince and this is Math Center. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Post your comments and questions on my social media handles and I'll respond to it. We are beginning a new topic today, probability. Here are the objectives that we look forward to achieving at the end of this topic. At the end of this topic, you should be able to understand the concept of probability. You should be able to determine the sample space of simple and compound experiments, and you should be able to calculate the probability of an event. So these are our three main objectives. Let's begin our studies on probability by considering some terms that we will be using. The first term is probability. Probability is the measure of the chance that something will happen. In our everyday lives, there are some activities that we cannot predict the outcome with certainty. For example, at the beginning of a day, we cannot predict with absolute certainty whether it will rain or not. Also, before a football match starts, we cannot predict with absolute certainty whether Team A or Team B will win the match or it's going to be a drawn game. Because we cannot predict the result of such events with absolute certainty, we usually use words like probable or likely. For example, we say that probably it will rain today, or Team A will likely win the match. We use words like probable or likely because we cannot predict the result of such events with absolute certainty. We cannot determine for sure whether it will happen or not. So we use words like probably or likely. Now, the measure of the chance or the likelihood that events such as these will happen is what we call probability. The measure of the chance or the likelihood that events like these will happen is what we call probability. The next term we are going to consider is experiment. An experiment is an operation whose outcome cannot be predicted with certainty. For example, tossing a coin, throwing of a die, or the results of a football match. If we take a coin for instance, a coin has two faces. So the picture here shows a 50 pesos coin with two faces. This is the first face and this is the second face. The first face is called the head and the second face is called the tail. When you toss this coin, you cannot predict with absolute certainty whether it's going to land on the head or the tail. Such an activity or operation is called an experiment. Also, the picture here shows a die. A die has its faces numbered from 1 to 6. When you throw a die, you cannot predict with absolute certainty which number is going to fall on. So, if you have an activity like that, it's called an experiment. The result of this activity cannot be predicted with certainty. Another experiment is a football match. You cannot predict the results of a football match with absolute certainty. It can end in a draw, a lose, or a win. So when you have any activity whose results or outcome cannot be predicted with certainty, it's called an experiment. The next term we will consider is trial. Trial is a single performance of an experiment. So when you perform an experiment once, it's called a trial. For example, tossing a coin once or throwing a die once. These are referred to as trials. The next term we will consider is the outcome. Outcome is the result of an experiment. So when you perform an experiment, the result is what you call the outcome. For example, the results of tossing a coin or throwing a die. So let's say you toss a coin and you get a head. the head is the outcome or the result of the experiment. Or you throw a die and you get the number 4. 4 is the outcome or the result of the experiment. The next term we are going to consider is the sample space. The sample space is the set of all possible outcomes of an experiment. The set of all possible outcomes of an experiment. We have learned from here that the outcome is the result of an experiment. So let's say you throw a coin and you toss a coin and you get a head. The head is the outcome of the experiment. But when we talk about the sample space, it's the collection of all the possible outcomes or the possible results. We have learned that a coin has 2 faces, a head and a tail. That means that when you toss a coin, you can either get a head or a tail. So the collection of all the possible outcomes, in this case, the possible outcomes are head and tail. The collection of the head and tail gives you the sample space. This means that when you toss a coin once or when you throw a coin, the collection of all the possible outcomes, that is the sample space, is either a head or a tail. So head or tail. Remember, this is a set, so you have to put it in a curly bracket. A sample space is a set, so you put it in a curly bracket. So the collection of all possible outcomes of an experiment is what we refer to as the sample space. Also, a die has 6 faces and is numbered from 1 to 6. So when you throw a die, you can either get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. The collection of all these possible outcomes is what we refer to as the sample space. So when you throw a die once, the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. In the next video, we are going to consider another very important term in probability. It's called event. We will learn what an event is and we will also consider types of events. Bye-bye.